He's out of bounds. A touchdown-saving tackle made by the kicker, Matt McClellan. If the senior McClellan is not there, then Snodgrass has a touchdown.
Well, you don't think we jinxed him, PJ? We're talking about Matt's long kickoffs, and that was a pretty good kickoff back to the 5. But Marion had a good wedge and a good hole for the returner to run through. So now Marion starts at real good field position.
The ball is just past their own 49, so they're just about a foot away from Gate City territory. 1st and 10, we start the football game with Marion with the quarterback Garrett Baker under center. Calling the play, he's got a wing back out to his right, and the back set side by side behind him. He's going to roll back the pass, looking to his right, fires over the middle. It's incomplete. Intercepted. Is it intercepted? Yes, it is. Held on for the interception, Joey McBryant, the senior. On the first play from scrimmage tonight, Garrett Baker looking over the middle for his tight end, and it's thrown into the diving arms of Joey McBryant.
McBryant did a real good job that time. He played the safety position the way you're supposed to play. Held his ground, kept his eye on the quarterback, and it was just a small pass over the middle. McBryant picked it off, made a good catch. Wasn't a real easy pass to catch, PJ.
He extended his body in front of the receiver and made the play. Here are the Devils with the football resting at their own 40-yard line. T formation behind Josh Shoemaker, the sophomore quarterback. Gives to the halfback, and coming through is Hank Claybaugh on the right side. He's tackled after a gain of about 3 yards. Hank Claybaugh is currently 4th in the Highlands District in rushing. He's got 177. He gets 4 on that carry.
Jason Shepard was one of the tacklers for Marion that time from his cornerback spot. Hank Claybaugh, like you said, has been one of the workhorses on this Blue Devil team, but they have also spread it around pretty good, PJ. About all 3 of them have run the ball quite a bit.
The starting fullback tonight is Kevin Gibson. He's number 3 in the Highlands in rushing, 201 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's tops in the district. Shoemaker barking out the signals, and he is going to give to the halfback again. That's Matt Claybaugh going over the 45, and he's stood up by tacklers at about the 47. So Matt Claybaugh from the right halfback slot going over the left side, and he picks up about 3 yards.
Meadows and Testament were the tacklers on that play, and when the safety has to come in and make a tackle, that's not speaking real well for your defensive line. But Meadows is a good linebacker, and he did his job, and the safety just cleaned up on the tackle.
Josh Shoemaker has matured into a fine-looking quarterback. He has a good deal of confidence. You can sense it when he's calling the signals under center, as he is now. Double tight end set for Gate City. Marion showing somewhat of a blitz. They've got 9 players on the line. Shoemaker directly back to pass. Quick pass out. He's got it, Matt Claybaugh, into Marion territory to the 40. Breaks a tackle, 30. He's gone. Touchdown, Gate City. Matt Claybaugh takes a pass from Josh Shoemaker and rumbles down the near sideline. Count the pass for 53 yards, and Gate City jumps on top 6-0. 9 minutes, 50 seconds to play, first quarter.
Talking to the coaching staff yesterday, Coach Rogers told me that they had given maybe Josh Shoemaker an opportunity to call some audibles at the line of scrimmage, and that could have possibly been one of those. When he saw that 8-man line up and the 3 deep people were only a couple yards off, it was almost like an 11-man line. He may have called that play, and if he did, he sure made the right decision.
Some decision-making for a sophomore. We talked about he has matured into a fine-looking quarterback for Gate City. Matt Claybaugh with a wonderful move on the sideline. Only one man had a chance to catch him, and Matt Claybaugh put a move on him about the 25, and it was clear sailing into the end zone from there. Here is the senior McClellan to try the PAT. He's made 8 of his 9 kicks in 1994. Here's the snap. Kick is up, and it splits the uprights, and McClellan now 9 for 10 on the season, and he gives his team a 7-0 lead.
I noticed that time, PJ, you know, we had a little trouble over at Lee last week with the PATs and 1 field goal attempt, and talked to the coaches again, and they said that that's one of the things that they'd worked on this week, was making sure they got the ball back to the holder in good shape and a little bit quicker. And that was executed real well that time, I thought.
These 2 teams met last year on September 24th, almost a year to the day they're meeting tonight. The result, 20-0. Gate City won. Big game for Chris Quillen, who has graduated. A fine game at receiver for him. Also for Barry Wolf, who was the quarterback at the time. After that, Gate City went on to have a fine year. They ended up playing Graham for the Region 4 title. Can't say the same for Marion. They went on to lose 5 of their next 6 games, so it was a real turning point for both teams. Gate City had looked a little ragged in the early part of the season. Marion came into that game 3-0, and they were never the same after suffering a loss at home.
PJ, while we've got a minute here, we were asked to maybe apologize for any hum that might be coming out over our audio tonight. We think it's the weather. All the equipment's been checked out, and PJ or I, either one, can't sing, so it's got to be an equipment or the weather rather. And if you've got a hum on your TV set, we're attributing it to the weather.
Here's McClellan booting it from the 40, and it's a spiraling kick driving the returnee back to the end zone, and it's going to bounce at the 1-yard line. Doesn't go in. Picked up, and the running back is out to about the 10, and that's where he is stuffed by Gate City. Returning the ball that time, number 24, Jason Shepard. He let the ball bounce at the 5. He thought it was going to go in the end zone. Instead, it rolled dead at the 1, and he had to pick it up.
Louis Bowl was the man that got down and really put a shoulder into him, I believe, PJ. He looked like number 32. Yeah, that's who it was, and he did a real good job. He's one of those seniors that's a special teams player, and he takes that position seriously as a starter on offense or defense. Either one would take their position seriously.
Looks like the ball is on the Marion 8-yard line, so that's where the Scarlet Hurricane begin. We talked about the field position that McClellan can take away from a team. Look where the Scarlet Hurricane are now, at their own 8. Here's the play. Quarterback rolling out, and he hands off, and we're going to have penalty flag down as Gate City swarms all over the ball carrier. We'll check out the infraction as carrying the ball that time for Marion. Looked like it was 24 Shepard, so Shepard on the return, and he takes his first carry for negative yardage.
They ran a little reverse in the backfield that time, PJ. Benny Wolf was one of the tacklers for the Blue Devils, along with a host of tacklers.
Illegal procedure called on Marion, so that'll negate the play if the Devils so choose, or they might take the loss. It put Marion close to their own 5-yard line. Scarlet Hurricane running into a wall of Devil defenders, and the Gate City defense picking right up on the intensity level they established 1 week ago against Lee. Gate City will decline the penalty. It'll be 2nd and 12. The ball is at the 5-yard line of Marion. Here's quarterback Garrett Baker with the signals. He's going to hand off, and not much yardage there. Running the ball that time was Wayne Meadows, it looked like, number 49. Actually, it was Snodgrass, the fullback. Snodgrass has had to step into some big shoes this year. He replaces Michael Hopkins, who was the leading scorer in the Highlands District. And for a wing T team, the fullback is a key position.
Oh, it sure is. He gets a lot of calls at that position, and because the wing backs are in motion a lot and a lot of reverses and so forth around. That tackle was made by Big B, so they tried to run right at him that time at his tackle spot, and he just stood his ground and made a tackle.
So it's 3rd and 13. Gate City stuffing Marion. They're on their left hash mark. Here's Barrett calling the signals with linebacker showing a blitz. Again, another running play right up the middle. Not much room at all. Gate City doing a great job of stuffing the run, and Snodgrass is stuffed for no gain. Marion forced the punt, and a tremendous defensive stand for Gate City. They've played on 4 defensive plays so far. They've got an interception, and they've held Marion to negative yardage on the other 3 plays.
Good job that time by Matt Johnson. He faked coming in on the blitz, and then really came on the snap of the ball and laid a shoulder into the running back.
So we're going to have a punt from deep in the end zone. Here's the kick away. It's going to be taken. Looks like going to bounce away. So the Devil return men split, and they'll let it roll dead as Marion downs it at about the 46 of the Scarlet Hurricane. So the punt, a pretty good one considering that number 32 of Marion was pinned deep in his end zone. That was Mike Tilson. Got off a good punt, and Gate City will take over with the football in Marion territory.
Got a good roll that time, PJ. Pretty good punt, like you said, while it was in the air, but he got probably maybe 10 yards roll out of it, and when it hit the ground, it hit just right on the nose and got some roll. But to get out deep in your own territory that well was a good punt.
Gate City showing an I formation, lining up right behind the quarterback as fullback Gibson, tailback. Looks like it's going to be Hank Claybaugh. Wide outs to each side as the sophomore calls the signals. Here's Hank Claybaugh up the middle. He's to the 40 and about the 39. Hank Claybaugh dragging a couple of tacklers with him, and he's going to have about 8 yards on the first down carry.
Garrett Baker, the quarterback and the linebacker on defense, made the tackle that time for Marion.
Gain of 7, 2nd down and 3. Claybaugh has 2 carries and 11 yards so far in the game. His brother Matt Claybaugh carried the ball once. He got 3 yards, but he also took the pass from Josh Shoemaker on the 3rd play of scrimmage for Gate City and rumbled 53 yards for the touchdown. That's where we stand with About 6 minutes and 33 seconds to play in the first quarter. Gate City 7, Marion nothing. Shoemaker with a T formation. This is power football. Give us to Gibson up the middle, about 3 yards, and he's finally wrestled down, but I think he's going to have enough for the first down as a wall of tacklers from Marion makes the tackle, but not before Gibson picks up the first down, and he'll move the chains forward for Gate City.
Baker again on the tackle along with Jason Shepard that time.
Picks up about 2 yards.
Well, the spot appeared to be back a little bit. It looked like he had moved forward farther than they gave him, so it's going to be 3rd and 1. Gibson with his first carry of the night. As we said, he's number 3 in the Highlands in rushing. 3rd and 1 for Gate City. Ball at the Marion 39. High formation with Gibson, the fullback, and Hank Claybaugh, the tailback. Quick pass out to this side. Matt McClellan has it. He's to the 35, and he's hit as he crosses the 35 to the 34. It's enough for a first down, and Josh Shoemaker taking 1 step back and firing a quick pass to the end on the near side.
Good save pass, PJ. The cornerback laid off about 5 yards. All you needed for a first down was 1 yard, so you catch the ball in 2 steps, and you've got the first down.
Pass went for 4 yards, and as Larry said, they only needed 1. It's 1st and 10 for Gate City, moving the football from left to right. They're at the Marion 35-yard line. T formation as, again, Gate City sends no one out wide. They pack them in for power football. Going to give to the fullback, Kevin Gibson. He's up the middle, breaks some tackles. He's at the 25 to the 20, and finally tripped up at the 19. Kevin Gibson finds a seam up the middle, and he takes the ball to the 20-yard line of Marion.
Jason Shepard stopped the possible touchdown there. He was about the last man between him and the goal line. Gibson kind of lost his balance a little bit on the wet grass, but he maintained it enough to pick up good yardage.
Gibson is all the way down to just shy of the 20-yard line. So on that play, he picks up 15 yards. So on 2 carries, he's got 17 total. 1st and 10, Gate City at the Marion 20. T formation behind Shoemaker. Quick pitch left side. It's Hank Claybaugh around the end. Has a blocker. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. He's in. Touchdown, Gate City. Hank Claybaugh running around the left end. Got a key block that time from number 72, Ed Lane. And Claybaugh jaunted into the end zone. Touchdown, and the Devils lead it 13-0.
We got a flag on the play, PJ. It's a clip against Gate City, so that play's going to come back.
Beautiful run by Claybaugh. You hate to see something that artistic called back, but the yellow marker signaling Gate City will have to try it again.
J.C. Oakes was out there, and I thought it, from up here, it looked like a great block. He turned the man outside, but that's where the flag is laying, is right where that block was made, and so evidently the official saw clip, and it's going to back the Blue Devils up.
Gate City with the football now resting further back. Looks like it's going to be close to the 30-yard line. So they had 1st and 10 at the Marion 20, and now it's 1st and 21 as we have yet another timeout called by the officials.
I believe we've got a flag on the coaching staff. Looks like the official was looking back and probably threw a 15-yard personal foul against the coaching staff.
And it's unsportsmanlike conduct on Gate City. So the Devils just moments ago looked like they were going to celebrate a touchdown. Instead, they have marched all the way back to the Marion 46. Remember, they started this drive at the Marion 47, so all the yardage they have gained has been negated. Now they only have 1 net yard on the drive. It's still first down, except this time it's 1st and 36 at the Marion 46. Shoemaker with an I formation behind him. He's got Matt Claybaugh split out to this side. Give us to the tailback, Hank Claybaugh. Big hole at the middle to the 30, to the 31. And Hank Claybaugh picking up a big chunk of yardage, getting a big hole up the middle.
Garrett Baker and and Corey Farmer on the tackle that time for Marion saved a touchdown. Claybaugh did hit a big hole, and he came off that left side behind blocks by J.C. Oakes and Matt Johnson, along with Jason Kilgore in the middle. Some big holes over there.
Ball is almost to the 30. It's to 32, so that time pick up a 14 for Hank Claybaugh. He's got 25 on the game. And here's the play. Not much yardage that time as the Marion defense closed in quickly on the Gate City running back. That was Hank Claybaugh with the carry again.
I believe that was Lee Thompson on the play that time. Came from his tackle spot, fought off the interference, and made the tackle.
It's going to be 3rd and a long distance, probably about 15 or close to 20. We'll see. It is close to 20-yard line. 20 yards as the ball is resting on the 30. Hank Claybaugh picking up about 2 yards on that carry. 3rd and 20 for the Devils. Shoemaker calling the signals with it. Back set side by side. Shoemaker straight back to pass. Rushes on. Fires downfield. He's got a man open, and it's a pass interference call. Matt McClellan was the intended receiver along the far sideline, and he was bumped as he was going for the pass. Looked like the interference called on perhaps number 80, Jeff Testerman of Marion. He simply ran into Matt McClellan.
That ball was well thrown. That ball was right on the money. I mean, if he hadn't interfered with him, PJ, I believe he would have had a touchdown. McClellan has real good speed, and Shoemaker laid that thing on the line right at his numbers. The cornerback on that side did what you said. He caused the interference to prevent a touchdown, which is not a real bad play here.
Gate City improved in the penalty department last week. They had no flags thrown against them. That's something that's very good considering the youth on this team. They had committed some key errors in the first couple of contests, but last week they were error-free. That time the big play going against Marion, the pass interference, gives Gate City pretty good field position. It's a 1st down and 10. Ball resting inside the 20-yard line of Marion. Looks close to the 15. Shoemaker, quick pitch to the right side. Matt Claybaugh turning back up the middle. He's to the 10, breaks a tackle, and he's close to the 8-yard line. Matt Claybaugh off a quick pitch, turned it back to the inside and found some running room.
He got a couple of good blocks that time on the right side, one by Sean Becker and the other by Housewright, and really opened that hole up on the right side. Housewright did a real good job from his tight end spot, and then Becker cleaned up by taking another man out.
Matt Claybaugh got it all the way to the 6-yard line, so a gain of almost 9 yards for the senior. That gives him 12 yards on 2 carries. And the Devils with a 2nd and 1. They bring the backs in now for a power I formation. Hank Claybaugh the tailback, Matt Claybaugh the halfback. Going to give, no, Shoemaker's going to keep it, rolling out, looking to pass, right side, pressure, throws the ball, and it's incomplete. I think Josh Shoemaker, feeling the pressure, threw the ball away.
Yeah, he had Lindsey Fisher open in the end zone, his tight end on that side, but Shue didn't pick him up until the coverage had gotten to Fisher. If he'd picked him up early, he had a touchdown. But I believe he more or less just threw that ball away, like you said, PJ.
That's the first incompletion of the night for Josh Shoemaker. Remember, he was 2 for 3. He's now 2 for 3. He had the big first completion of the game. That was to Matt Claybaugh, went for a touchdown, and he later hit Matt McClellan for a 4-yard gain on 3rd down. It is again 3rd down for Gate City, 3rd and 1, with the clock showing 2 minutes and 9 seconds. 7-0, Gate City leads it. They had 1 touchdown called back because of a clipping penalty. Shoemaker under center, T formation behind him. He's going to give to, looks like fullback Kevin Gibson's going to score. Touchdown Gate City. He followed the lead block of left halfback Hank Claybaugh up the middle, and Gate City goes on top 13-0. This time, no yellow markers.
Right, and J.C. Oaks, if he was the man that got caught for the clip, also made a good block there. He opened up the hole, and then Claybaugh preceded the fullback Gibson in through that hole and laid another block, and that was a heck of a hole to run through there, PJ. A good drive, way to recover after a 15-yard penalty. That shows some class and some pretty good professionalism too, I think.
Here's the try for the point after. McClellan boots it up, and again he splits the upright, so it's 14-0 in favor of Gate City. Kevin Gibson scoring from 6 yards out. He picked up 23 yards all on that drive with some fine running. And Larry, we talked about it before the game, the Gate City offensive line doing the job again. By the time the Marion defense can even make an initial hit on the Gate City running back, he's already picked up 5 or 6 yards.
Well, Marion's playing a 6-man line, PJ, with only a couple standing linebackers and 3 deep backs. So if you're able to block that defensive line and get a lead blocker through like we have on that play to take out that linebacker, then it gives the back an opportunity to go one-on-one against that cornerback. And we've done a good job on blocking all the way through, I believe.
So far, the slippery conditions have not affected Gate City at all. On the touchdown run by Matt Claybaugh, when he took the flare pass out of the backfield, he showed a good move, and Gate City showed some fine running there. So the slightly wet field conditions not bothering the Devils so far in the game. They lead 14-0. As we said, they can take a 3-0 record in the Highlands District should they win tonight. They'll only have 1 Highlands game left. That's the season finale against the Abingdon Falcons on the road. Here's here's kicker McClellan for Gate City. He'll come up and boot it from the 40-yard line. This time not as deep as before, and it's going to roll out of bounds at about the 1-yard line. That'll bring out the yellow markers, and Marion will this time have a better field position than they did last time.
Yeah, I believe they probably have the opportunity to take over the ball at the 35-yard line. I'm not 100% sure in high school, but the thing that impresses me about this young group, PJ, is the maturity that they have reached so far to be so worthy in the season. And I know we have some real tough games coming up in the next 3 or 4 weeks. And I hope that maturity goes a long way on how we play in those 3 or 4 games, too.
That last drive by Gate City, 9 plays covering 47 yards. Of course, remember, they had to go all the way down to the 20, then came back to the Marion 46, and then took it again. So you could give them a few more yards, but they knock off over 5 minutes from the clock. Remember, last week they had a 7-minute scoring drive against the lead. So here are the Scarlet Hurricane coming out of the huddle with a pair of backs set side by side behind the quarterback, Garrett Baker. Baker looking over the Gate City defense, taking a long time to call the signal. Quick pass, he pump fakes, looking for a man, and he is hit as he throws the ball. It's up and for grabs and tipped away. Perhaps some pass interference as the official throws the flag on the near sideline. It was intended for Marion's, let's see, looks like number 86 of the Scarlet Hurricane, and that is Chris Keith. Defending was Joey McBryant.
Well, I'm not so sure if this is going to be defensive pass interference. Evidently it is, but it looked to me that both men were going for the football, and the defensive man has as much right to it as the offensive man, but the official saw it the other way, so we've got pass interference against the defense.
That's the 3rd penalty of the night against Gate City. Remember, they had a touchdown called back because of a clipping penalty. Then, on the very next play, an unsportsmanlike conduct call against the Devils marched them further back. So that's the 3rd infraction of the night, and it gives gives Marion possession just inside the 50-yard line on the Gate City side of the field. Baker calling the signals for Marion, and he's going to give to the halfback for about 2 yards and not much more. Actually, he may have been lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, we got a fumble that time, PJ, and I'm not really sure. I think it may have been Housewright. The ball was fumbled, and Housewright caught it in midair. If he is the one that had the recovery, and I believe he may have been.
So the Gate City defense comes up big again. They convert the turnover, and Gate City takes over 1st and 10 at their own 49-yard line. Marion can't get anything going on offense, and the Devils have had their way so far. Gate City, pair of backs behind Shoemaker. Wing backs set out to this side is Matt Claybaugh. Hank Claybaugh, quick pitch around the left side. He's got about 4, breaks a tackle, still on his feet, about 9 yards as he's finally herded out of bounds at the 41 of Marion. Great run by Hank Claybaugh, and he has a knack for turning the corner very quickly on that halfback pitch.
I'll tell you something else he does that impresses me. He runs into people, PJ. He dishes out punishment instead of taking punishment all the time. It took 3 people to bring him out of bounds, to drive him out of bounds that time, and he got a good block on that side of the tight end, West Ford, on the left side that time.
Hank Claybaugh picked up more than enough for the 1st down. In fact, he moves the ball all the way to the Marion 41. And here's the play. Going to give to Gibson up the middle. He's to the 35 and knocks over tacklers as he's down to the 34. Kevin Gibson on the run up the middle.
Tackle that time by Kevin White, the right defensive tackle for Marion that time.
Kevin Gibson's had a pretty good year so far, Larry. We talked about earlier, he didn't see a lot of starting time until late in the season last year, but he has really come through and become yet another of the fine running backs from the tradition for Gate City.
Sure has, and a real nice young man.
Devils come to the line. Back set side by side behind Shoemaker. Claybaugh set out to this side, calling the signals. It's going to be a misdirection. Matt Claybaugh, left side, and he is going to be close to the 1st down as he bowled over a man and moves the ball near the 30-yard line.
Garrett Baker on the tackle that time for Marion. Talking about Kevin Gibson, he was one of Chuck Newton's people that he interviewed yesterday, one of the players that's interviewed before or after the coaches show, and was shown this afternoon on Channel 30, probably at about 4:30, I believe. But he's a very personable young man and a very articulate young man. I thought Chuck did a real good job with him, and he answered all the questions that Chuck asked and did an excellent job, PJ.
Gate City with yet another 1st down. They've played very well, and I don't think we're going to get the final play of the quarter off and delay a game called against Gage City. The clock showing 00 as we are finished with the first quarter of play. The penalty will be assessed as we will begin the second quarter. It's a delay of game, 5-yard infraction against Gage City. They didn't get the play off in time. So that's the end of the first quarter. Gage City leading Marion 14-0 from Legion Field. While we have a moment, I want to tell you about some of the fine sponsors for tonight's game. Gage City Blue Devil Football and Cablevision Channel 30. Brought to you by State Line Graphics, offering the best for your printing needs, located in Weber City. And before we go any further, are we going to have one final play of the half?
Well, it looks like it.
The clock is showing 12 minutes. The clock had run out, but Gage City is going to get yet another play. Shoemaker calling the signals. Gibson barreling his way up the middle, tried to get leg tackled, and he's all the way to the 30-yard line. So he picks up what they lost on the penalty before, and that is the official end of the first quarter. Kevin Gibson picking up 4 more yards. He's got 5 carries and 45 yards in the first quarter, and now we officially conclude the first 12 minutes. Gage City leads 14-0. Again, we want to thank our sponsors for tonight's game, State Line Graphics, offering the best in printing when your printing needs, located in Weber City. By King Ford in Gage City, where it's closeout time with better than ever savings. By Roberts Tire and Recapping, you'll find quality tires like Firestone and Michelin at their Weber City location. By People's Bank of Gage City, featuring half-a-day hours on Saturday and a drive-up ATM. Get countywide service with People's. By Magnolia Place, discover the charm of the place for the perfect gift on East Jackson Street in Gage City. By Weber City Drug Center, great prescription service, also featuring UPS and fax service for your convenience. By Nations Bank with an ATM at the Weber City office and great deals on lines of credit. By Weber City Coin Laundry, Deli and Tanning, full-service laundry, sandwiches, and Wolf tanning beds. By Williams Heating and Air Conditioning, contact them today for the comfort of a Carrier heat pump. And by Delegate Terry Kilgore, proud to represent the 1st District in the Virginia Legislature. Blue Devil Football is also brought to you by Gate City Drug, by Doc Whitley Nationwide Insurance, by the Campus Drive-In, by Scott Jewelers, by Willis Pharmacy, and by Michael Carrico, candidate for Commonwealth's Attorney. Here we are in the second quarter. Gage City moving from right to left. Shoemaker running the option. He'll pitch out. Hank Claybaugh takes it on the far side. Breaks a tackle. He's got the first down. He's got more. He's to the 15. And finally, he is wrestled down after a big gain. Hank Claybaugh moving the football all the way from the 30 to deep inside Marion territory.
And only a tackle by Jeff Testerman prevented the touchdown that time after a real good run by Hank Claybaugh. He did those same things again. He bounces off of people and dishes out some a little measure of revenge on his own. A good run again by Hank Claybaugh.
So the ball is at the Marion 12-yard line. Gain of 18 for Hank Claybaugh, and he now has 58 yards on 6 carries. Gage City going with the running play. Barreling up the middle. Matt Claybaugh takes a hit at the 3-yard line. He was ever so close to making it to the end zone, and he's finally stopped just short.
I believe the tackle was made that time by number 22, Letcher Wagner, from his right cornerback spot. Matt's trying to show Hank that he can run the football also here at PJ. He's had a couple pretty good runs already. And I'll tell you, I like this Gate City offense. They distribute the ball between all 3 running backs, and Shoemaker runs the option well. Made a good choice on the corner over there a while ago when he pitched. So the Blue Devils offense, I think, is in pretty good shape. They seem to be, so far, like a well-oiled machine other than the penalties we've had.
The run by Matt Claybaugh put the ball just short of the first down, so it's 2nd in inches. If the Devils can get the first down, they'll have 1st and goal, but they're only at the 2-yard line, so Coach Colibro will try to get the team to punch it in from here. They've had pretty good success in what's called the red zone so far, this deep part of the opposing team's territory. Shoemaker under center, 3 backs behind him, calling the signals, and he is going to give to Kevin Gibson around the right side, and he is in. Touchdown, Gage City. Kevin Gibson with his 2nd score of the night, coming from 2 yards out, and he went over the right side of the line. Again, tremendous blocking by the Gage City line.
Yeah, that's Beasley and Becker on that side over there, PJ, and I believe that's the same play we ran it a couple of times in the scrimmage against Powell Valley over there. It seems that we've executed it better now than we did in the scrimmage, but that's a good-looking run. That's a good drive by the Blue Devils again. They overcame another penalty, and put the ball in the end zone. So that's an excellent drive again by the Blue Devils.
Kevin Gibson has 6 touchdowns this year. That's tops in the Highlands District. Here's the try for the point after. McClellan gets it a high arch on it, and it's good. So just like that, Gate City 21, Marion nothing. 11 minutes and 7 seconds to play in the second quarter. And Larry, I think you made a good point. You said the Gate City offense, other than the penalties, looking like a well-oiled machine. They're getting good blocking from the line. Their backs are playing well, and quarterback Josh Shoemaker is making some good decisions on the field.
I think that's the key. I think Shoemaker is making good decisions. I thought on the pass down here a while ago, on probably the second drive we had, when he had the tight end open and he tried to throw the ball short to a man back this side of the goal line, he threw it in a place that only the Gate City receiver could throw it. He threw it real low, and our receiver would have had to made an excellent catch to catch it, but no defensive back was going to be able to get to it and pick it off in the position he threw it in. And that shows some know-how from a young sophomore that has couple more bright years to come, hopefully, for these Blue Devils.
That was a 7-play. And the 7-play drive for the score. Gate City went with their own 48. That's a 52-yard distance they traveled to get the touchdown. It took 3 minutes and 3 seconds off the clock. Of course, most of that coming at the end of the first quarter. So second quarter from Legion Field, and Gate City wearing their dark blue jerseys and their silver pants with white and blue stripes running vertically down the sides leads 21-0. Marion wearing the white jerseys, white pants with scarlet numerals, scarlet stripes in the sleeve, and they will receive as McClellan boots it high, and it's not going to be very deep. It is taken and fumbled it by Snodgrass at the number 35, and he fumbles the football. Gate City recovers. The Gate City Blue Devils have recovered what looks like another Marion fumble. We'll get the official word, but it looked like that. Yes, they have. Gate City recovers the fumble. Snodgrass could not hold on as he was leveled by one of the Gate City cover people, and the Devils take over deep in Marion territory. Ball at the Scarlet Hurricane 17.
I couldn't see who recovered the fumble, PJ. Matt Osborne was one of the first people down the field, but he made the first contact, but somebody else really lowered a shoulder on him on that right side over there. And the Blue Devil, the ball just popped up and laid right there waiting on Gate City to pick it up.
The ball has bounced Gate City's way on the wet surface tonight at Legion Field. From the far hash mark, Shoemaker giving off to Gibson. Not much room for him in the backfield. In fact, he's going to lose a few yards. Actually, that was Jason McMurray into the game. And McMurray from the halfback spot will lose a few yards. Jason McMurray, a young player at Gate City who has shown some good signs of brilliance so far this year. McMurray is a sophomore. He's 5'8" and 144 pounds.
Got an opportunity Monday night, PJ, to watch the JVs at Marion, and McMurray and that whole JV team really impressed me.
Loss of about 2 on the play. Here's the give again up the middle. Nice run that time. And let's see who it was.
I believe that was McMurray again.
Was McMurray again. Gate City with a good stable of young running backs. Jason McMurray, Chris Green. Just you could go on and on with some of those younger players. And when Hank and Matt Clayball and Kevin Gibson move on after graduation this year, Gate City will have some good players to take their place.
Yeah, I believe this may be the white team in there. Now we've got Ed Britt at one halfback spot too.
It's second and about 7. Here's the give up the middle, and Gate City pounding the football closer to a first down. Ed Britt, who Larry's just made mention of, checks into the game, and he gets his first carry of the night. And Britt puts the ball about 2 yards short of the first down marker. It's in the center of the field, and Gate City facing a 4th and 2 with, as Larry said, appearing the second string offense at some positions into the game. And timeout is called by Marion as the Scarlet Hurricane trying to stop the leak as Gate City keeps pushing and pushing closer to another touchdown.
Joey McBride is also in at the quarterback spot, PJ. A young man that has waited his turn for many years at Wolf for 3 years behind Barry Wolf, and Josh Shoemaker stepped up front as a sophomore to get that spot. But McBride has shown maturity by accepting a starting safety spot and done a real good job defensively. It's a team ball game, and wherever you're selected to play, you have to put everything into it you can, and I think McBride's done a real good job at the safety spot.
He's also done a good job at punter too, as he's gotten off several good kicks. Last week at Lee, for instance, he got off a couple of fine punts. As we have a timeout right now, Gate City leads at 21-0, 9 minutes and 9 seconds to play before halftime. it's been all the Blue Devils so far. Gate City coming up with 3 turnovers, an interception, and a pair of fumbles, and they've converted. They've also put together several fine offensive drives. Just played very fundamentally sound football, and that's what Nick Colliver wanted after last week's emotional win at Lee. Here's McBryant under the center for Gage City with a T formation behind him. He's going to roll out on the option. Quick pitch. Here's number 45. McMurray breaks a tackle. He's got the first down, and he's out of bounds. There might have been a fumble on the far side. We couldn't see, but it's going to be a first down for Gage City as Jason McMurray gets enough to move the chains.
He did fumble the football after a hard hit over there. I believe it was Chris Pruitt on that side, but McMurray fell on the football, and the Blue Devils have it probably first and goal, I suppose, here.
Looks like the ball is going to rest right at the Marion 5-yard line, so Gage City with about 5 to go before they can pick up yet another touchdown. Here's McBryant with tight ends on either side of him. He's going to give to the halfback up there, and it's touchdown Gage City. Scoring on the play for the Blue Devils, number 43, and that is Benny Wolf.
Benny Wolf with an opportunity to run out that fullback spot. Could be the fullback next year, but there's a couple young men on that JV team that are going to push him a little bit. Green and Matt Osmond ran some fullback in the JV game the other night. Like you said, the Blue Devils have a good-looking stable of running backs and have some good-looking young men in the offensive line, too. Fitzpatrick is one of the guys that impressed me at Murray the other night. He and Reed and a couple more young men really look like they're coming along pretty good, too, PJ.
McClellan will be on to try his 4th kick of the night. As we have a delay of some sort, the referee's talking, and it looks like we have a player down from Marion. That's the cause of the delay. Let's see if we can spot who it is. It's slow to get up his Meadows. That's the big gun in the backfield for the Marion Scarlet Hurricane. He also plays middle linebacker on defense for Marion. 1 year ago, he was top dog in rushing in the Highlands District, 1,029 yards. He was 350 yards ahead of his closest competitor. This year, it's been a different story. Through 3 games, he had only gained 169 yards, and he comes to the sidelines a bit shaken.
You know, he had a big fullback in front of him up there last year at Marion Hopkins. Big kid, big fullback. It probably made a lot of holes for him, too.
Got a new kicker on for Gage City. The backup booter is Bo Hartsock. Here's the snap, and Hartsock's kick sails up, and it is good. So Bo Hartsock getting in some action at kicker as well, replacing Matt McClellan, and Gage City has stretched it out to a 28-0 advantage with 8 minutes and 40 seconds left before halftime.
And this appears to be a blowout of sorts, and maybe some young men will get a lot of playing time here to build some experience in this game. Gate City watched Hartsock yesterday in practice and kicking practice, and you know, when McClellan goes back to the 45 to attempt his field goals or 40-yard line, Hartsock does the same. He has a pretty good leg. He's probably doesn't kick the ball as high as McClellan does, but has a pretty strong leg, I noticed there yesterday.
28-0 Gate City on a rainy, drizzly night here at Legion Field, the first of 4 consecutive home games. Next Friday night, 7:30 p.m., Gate City entertaining Southwest District Power Tazewell in what should be a tremendous ball game. Last year, the 2 teams met twice. Gate City, I believe, took both games, one of them here at Legion Field in the playoffs. So always a great rivalry between Tazewell and Gage City.
Is it Tazewell next week or Richland?
I believe we have Tazewell. We'll check the schedule. It is Tazewell next week. The following week, October 7th, is Graham, and then Richlands comes to town on October 14th. Richlands right now owns the top spot in Southwest Virginia. They have a powerful team with Jeremy McCommons. He has been a superb running back and also a tremendous linebacker for Richlands, and they appear back in the title chase this year. Here's Hartsock's kick. It's a good one, bouncing at the 10, and it's going to be picked up, returned to the 10, to the 15, breaks a tackle to the 20 on the near side. He's to the 25, 30, and finally closing in and making the tackle for Gate City, a pair of Blue Devils, including Hartsock, the kicker. Return of close to 30 yards.
And Josh Kahaney was one of the men that ran him out of bounds that time. He was the first man to hit him, and Hartsock cleaned up on the thing. So there's a big ball game tonight, isn't there? Richlands and Tazewell play each other, PJ, tonight.
That's right. So Gate City almost could qualify for a title in the Southwest District. They're going to play 3 of those teams, only not facing Grundy, which has also got a good squad this year. But right now it's Marion on the field at Legion. And here is the handoff and not much running room. Hitting the backfield. Meadows breaks the tackle. He's to the 40. He's to the 50. He's to the 45 of Gate City. And Matt Claybaugh bulldogs him out of bounds. Actually, that was Hank Claybaugh who came over to make the tackle. And Hank Claybaugh possibly saving a touchdown on a big run, the biggest of the night for Marion by Wayne Meadows.
Lindsey Fisher hit Meadows in the backfield, and I thought it was going to be for a big loss, but Meadows spun away and broke containment and broke down the right sideline here to pick up good yardage for Marion.
About a 25-yard gain for Meadows on his second carry of the night. And Marion with the football resting at the 39 of Gate City. So just when you maybe thought that Marion was out of it, the Scarlet Hurricane put one big run on the board, and now they're driving from left to right, looking at the Gate City end zone. Backs behind Garrett Baker, and he's going to hand off to the fullback with not much running room. There to close in several Devils as Snodgrass goes up the middle and picks up maybe 1 yard.
Tackle by 54.
Tackle that time was Brian Burke and Matt Johnson. Good job in the middle. Burke held his ground at defensive tackle. Johnson cleaned up from the middle linebacker spot.
Matt Johnson, who has played linebacker ever since his days at Weber City Elementary, a position he has become very accustomed to, position which has turned out several stars in the past few years for Gate City, and that play's not going to count as maybe somebody moved on the Marion offensive line. We'll check it out. Flags fly everywhere.
Looked like the receiver on the split receiver on the left side there that time, Chris Keith, moved about a count too early.
5-yard penalty marked off against the Scarlet Hurricane. It's going to be, looks like maybe 2nd and 14 for Marion, and they'll have the ball at the Gate City 44. Legal procedure against the Scarlet Hurricane. We talked about Wayne Meadows a few moments ago, the young man who had the big run for Marion there a second ago. Interesting story about him. He stayed out of the Marion weight room over the summer, whereas many players would go in and pump iron and try to build up. Instead, Meadows stayed at home. He built a sled for himself, put rocks on it, and pulled it around his yard. That's the way he built up strength over the summer. A bit unconventional, but it's worked for the senior. Here's Baker on a quick pass out to this side. Meadows has it, and he's tackled at the 40-yard line after a pickup of close to 5, and he gets close to the original line of scrimmage.
Fisher and Beasley on the tackle that time for the Blue Devils. Good job that time by Fisher, who swung around from his defensive end position to make the first contact, and then Beasley coming from the linebacker spot cleaned up.
The clock is turning. 7 minutes and 10 seconds left before halftime. 28-0 Gate City. Marion on the near hash mark. Garrett Baker looking at a pair of backs behind him, and a wing back set out to this side. Also, we've got a split end out on the right. Baker going to give to the fullback, and not much room there. Quickly closing in with the linebackers, including Matt Johnson. Snodgrass picked up maybe a yard, but Johnson was there to greet him very quickly.
Johnson has the nose for the football. I thought again he was going to blitz that quarterback, and he took a step or two, stopped, changed his direction, and had the ball carrier right at the line of scrimmage on.
4th down, and Marion's going to have to punt. Number 22, Letcher Wagner, he's in to kick. Remember, he had about a 40-yard kick, including a roll from deep in his end zone earlier in the first quarter. Back to receive for Gate City, it's Matt Claybaugh and Hank Claybaugh. Matt is on the near side, Hank a bit deeper, and he's standing at about the 10-yard line of Gate City. Clock showing 6 minutes and 20 seconds as the officials have held up the play momentarily for some reason. Looks like one of the Marion players adjusting a chin strap or piece of padding in his helmet. Claybaugh's very dangerous return man. You might remember in the second game of the season, it was here at Legion Field against Virginia High. Hank Claybaugh takes the opening kickoff and runs for a touchdown, only to have it called back by a penalty. But that perhaps illustrates just how well these Gate City return men can find a hole in the coverage and burst it along the sideline or up the middle. They just need a little space, and they can turn it into a big run. Now the only player back to receive for Gate City is Hank Claybaugh, standing at about his own 10. Here's the punt, and it's not as deep as before. Spiraling end over end. Hank Claybaugh signals fair catch, and he'll take it at his own 15. Gate City 1st and 10, 6 minutes and 5 seconds left. They lead it 28-0.
That was an excellent punt by the Marion punter, PJ. The ball never did turn over. It was coming down with the nose down, which makes it kind of hard to feel that time, and a little reverse spin on it. But Claybaugh did a good job and made a good safe catch down deep in Gate City's own territory.
Again, the second string offense has taken the field for the Devils. Joey McBryant, number 11. He's a senior. He's the quarterback. The running backs, looks like Ed Britt is in there. Wolf is at fullback and McMurray the tailback. McMurray gets it. He's along the right side and picks up a couple of yards and tackled by about 4 or 5 Marion players as they pursue well and string the play out along the right side.
Corey Farmer and Meadows, Travis Snoggers on that side of the defensive line for Marion. Stopped McMurray, but McMurray had a good gain, picked up 5-6 yards on the play.
It's going to be 2nd and 5 for Gate City. That's been a real key for the Devils. They've gotten good yardage on the first down play, so they didn't end up in 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10. And that gives you more options when you're a head coach calling the offensive signals. Here's the carry. It's going to be McMurray again. He tries the left side and doesn't find much there.
Number 45.
Tackle looked like by 55 of Marion, and that's Johnny Winter.
Number 42, Curtis Pruitt.
McMurray has quite a bit of speed. If he has an opportunity to pop it outside, we're going to really see a show here. He does a good job. Looks like Brian Burke's going out for the Blue Devils this time. We have another tackle in.
Also looks like we have a penalty against Marion as the official is going to mark it off, and it's a big one, almost looks like a 15-yarder, so perhaps a personal foul. And it's going to be...
The only thing I can think of there, PJ, would be maybe a blow to the head, which would be a personal foul.
Perhaps a spearing call, or as Larry said, maybe a shot to the head. Whatever it was costly for Marion as the ball's at the 35 of Gate City. The Devils with a pair of backs behind McBryant calling the signals. He's going to give on a misdirection play coming to the near side. Not much room for Ed Britt. In fact, he maybe lost a yard or so. Gate City trying the counter play. Britt was lined up as a wingback, and he tried to come from the right side to the left. Good job of stopping him there by the Marion defensive line.
Seth Unbarger, a new name for Marion, into the lineup here, made the tackle for Marion that time. He looks to be playing one of the linebacker spots.
2nd and 10, Gate City. 35-yard line of the Devils. Pair of backs set side by side behind quarterback Joey McBryant. He's going to roll out to his right, looking downfield. He's got plenty of time, fires and short hops the intended receiver at midfield, diving for the football that time for Gate City. Looks like it was number 32 of the Devils, and that is Louis Bold. So the pass just about 2 yards shy of Bold, and it's going to be 3rd down.
Bold didn't clear the defensive man really hardly quick enough for McBryant to throw the ball, but he did an excellent job also. PJ kept the ball low, and if Bold doesn't catch it, Murray's not going to come up with it either.
T formation behind quarterback McBryant. And here's the give to the left halfback. Jason McMurray breaks a tackle. Yet another. He's close to midfield at about the 48. He's finally tackled shy of midfield, but another first down, and Jason McMurray putting on a show, the sophomore for Gate City, possibly playing his way into the lineup next year.
Jason Shepard on the tackle for Murray in that time. McMurray did a good job, gave a little limp leg to the first man that hit him in the backfield there and shook loose a tackle, and then picked up some good yards.
Joey McBryant doing a great job of leading the Gate City offense. He's got the Devils to the 48. Barks out the signals with a T formation behind him. Going to give to the right halfback, Britt, hit in the backfield, breaks a tackle, gets back to the line of scrimmage, and is hammered by one of the Scarlet Hurricane. Looked like it was number 10 for Marion. That was Jim Bob Snavely.
And number 22, Letcher Wagner.
That's a nice sounding name, isn't it, PJ? That has a ring to it. Jim Bob Snavely. Used to be a Snavely, I believe, at Marion during the years we were talking about early. When Hungate and that crew of kids came through, I believe they had a catcher up there by the name of Snavely on the baseball team, and also played football also.
Gain of nothing on the play for Ed Britt, and 2nd down and 10 to go. 3:15 left before halftime. Handoff, and Britt trying to get around the end. He's dropped for a loss in the backfield. There to make the play for the Scarlet Hurricane. 42, Curtis Pruitt. He's a 5'8 sophomore playing linebacker.
Curtis Pruitt.
Josh Caney on the carry that time. Must have been a little end around or something. I never noticed where he lined up in the backfield that time, but it was 83 on the carry. So it looks like Hartsock's going to check in this time at probably at a wide receiver spot.
Here's the backfield for Gage City. Of course, McBrien is the quarterback. Britt is set out as a wing back to this side. Marion, also Benny Wolf at the fullback. Misdirection play might be a broken play as McBrien is sacked in the backfield. He went back and looked as though he wanted to hand off to the fullback Wolf, who had gone to the left side. McBrien turned to the right, nobody there, and he's dropped for a loss at the 41-yard line.
Seth Umbarger and Chris Pruitt on the tackle that time for Marion. We didn't have a whole lot of blocking on the right side, and they shot the gap and kind of were expecting pass too, I think.
Gage City with Joey McBrien standing just about the 31 of his own yard line, and here he's going to get the high snap, but he takes it and booms it deep, driving the intended receiver all the way back. Bounces at the 35, going to take a Gage City roll, and the Devils will let it come down at the 30-yard line, about the 31. So that's where Marion will take over with 1:46 minutes to play before halftime. Gage City owns the lead, 28-0.
These young Blue Devils have represented themselves well, I think. They've not turned the ball over. They've moved the ball a little bit, and also have one touchdown on tonight so far. So they should get a lot of playing experience between now and the end of this game for sure.
Quarterback for Marion looks like number 11, Garrett Baker, so they stay with Baker, trying to get some more experience. One of the Scarlet Hurricane may have moved early. Pass is almost intercepted there to step up. Let's see, was it intercepted? Yes, it was. And Matt Johnson, the linebacker, the senior who has drawn so many accolades, steps in front of the tight end and makes the interception.
Matt Johnson has taken advantage of that write-up he had in the paper. He's kind of fired himself up tonight. He's had a real good ball game, but he's had a good ball game every time Gage City's played. I think he's an excellent linebacker, and he's surrounded by a couple more good linebackers on that team.
Johnson is a 207-pound, 6-foot senior. He's averaged almost 10 tackles, perhaps even over 10 tackles a game in the first 3 contests of the year for Gage City. We have a timeout as some equipment being adjusted on one of the Devils.
You know, PJ, I talked to Matt Johnson's mother last Saturday, and she said he had one of the office-looking toes after last Friday night's game that she ever saw.
It hasn't affected him so far tonight as the Gage City offense with McBrien back to pass, looking downfield. He's got a man, but overthrows him. Incomplete. It was intended for number 81 of the Devils, and that is David Burke, the 5'11", 165-pound senior. Looked like maybe some contact between Burke and the defensive back, kind of a questionable call, but the referees let it slide, and it's going to be 2nd and 10.
May rule the pass uncatchable. Talked to Matt yesterday about that toe, and then we'll get off of that. He said he thought he might have dislocated it, but like you said, you can't tell it in the way he's playing.
Devils come to the line. Ball spotted at the Marion 34. McBrien, pair of backs behind him. He's got a wing back to his left and also a wide out there. And he's going to take it on the option. Pitch to McMurray around the end, and he's close to the 28-yard line. Actually, that was Wolf, the fullback. So the fullback going out on the option with the quarterback McBrien. McBrien pitching out to Wolf, and Benny taking it up to the 28-yard line of Marion.
Umbarger and Kevin White on the tackle that time for Marion.
Bring up 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. The second string of Gage City has moved the ball fairly well. You might not know that this is a team that hasn't seen a lot of action so far this year. They played pretty good football here in the second quarter. McBrien going to hand off to the right halfback, and he's burst up the middle close to the 25-yard line. Benny Wolf is going to be close, but I think he's going to be about a yard shy of the first down.
And I think he also fumbled the football.
He did indeed, so Marion takes over. Wolf coughs it up, and the Scarlet Hurricane will get the football back with 16 seconds left in the second quarter. They'll take it at their own 23-yard line.
Looks like the Blue Devils have the first team defense in here, so they're going to do everything they can to prevent Marion from getting on the scoreboard here right before halftime.
Baker has running back set side by side behind him, and that's the end of the first half. The clock winding down, and it hits 0-0 down with Tazewell, the first of 3 Southwest District foes they will face here at Legion Field. And we're ready to kick the ball game off for the second half. Here's the kick from the 40. It's an end-over-end kick, very short, taken at the 30 by Joey McBride. Stumbles forward to the 35, and that's where Gate City will take over. McBride fielded it at the 31. Looked like he lost his footing and stumbled forward, got Gate City to the 35.
And Marion had a tackler on him just as he stumbled. I believe that's number 24 there, Jason Shepard. So McBride really did a pretty good job to hold on to the football because he was losing his balance, and Shepard put a pretty good stick on him too.
Devils have the first team offense running the show to start the third quarter. It's Josh Shoemaker, the sophomore, who has performed admirably so far this season as he has a pair of backs behind him. Matt Claybaugh is a wing back to his right. Shoemaker, a long count, misdirection. He's going to roll in trouble. He passes, and it's off balance and thrown amidst 5 Marion defenders. Shoemaker hit just as he let go of the ball, and the pass wobbled wildly, incomplete.
Looked like good pressure at that time by number 63 for Marion, Travis Snoggers. He came in and hit Shoemaker as he was letting the football go, and Snoggers came in from his left defensive end position and kept Shoe from completing the football.
Shoemaker's improved steadily throughout the season. He had 48 and 86 yards in his first 2 games as he pitches out. Here's Hank Claybaugh trying to find an area along the left side, nowhere really to go. Maybe he got a pair of yards as the Marion defense strung the play out and closed in quickly. Talked about Shoemaker. He had 48 and 86 yards passing in his first 2 games. Last week, 115 yards against Lee.
Shoemaker has really progressed well, I think, and I hope that he's able to progress a little bit in each game. Snoggers and Farmer on the tackle that time for Marion.
3rd down and 7 for Gate City. Ball's at the Blue Devil 38-yard line. I formation. Gibson's the fullback. Shoemaker running the option this side. He's going to pitch. Fumbled by Hank Claybaugh. It was a bad pitch, and it's picked up by Marion. Claybaugh tackles the man who picked up the ball at the 30-yard line. That time the fumble recovered by, looks like, 63 of the Scarlet Hurricanes, and that is going to be Travis Snodgrass. So a pitch was behind Claybaugh as he was running the option to this side, and the Hurricanes have the break they needed.
Marion has come out in this second half, PJ, and seems to be playing with a whole lot more intensity, and the Blue Devils don't quite seem to be as intense as they were in the first half.
4 down linemen and a linebacker showing for Gate City along the front against Marion. Wing back in motion. They're going to give to the fullback up the middle. Several Devils close in, but not before. 5 yards on the carry. Looks like it's going to be Derek Snodgrass, number 35, moving the football to the Gate City 25.
Wolf and Benny Wolf and Joel Stacy on the tackle that time for the Blue Devils.
Snodgrass came into the game with 97 yards on the ground. As we said, he's got some big shoes to fill, replacing Michael Hopkins, who graduated last year. Hopkins had 66 points to lead the Highlands. Here's Baker calling the signal from Marion. He's going to give to the tailback. Last back through. Got some room to the 15, to the 10, and he is going to score. Touchdown, Marion. He broke through the right side of the Gate City line and went untouched to the end zone. One man had a shot at him, but not before he had crossed and scored. Running the ball that time for Marion looked like it was number 24 for the Scarlet Hurricane, and that is Jason Shepard. So Shepard taking it in from 25 yards out, found a hole on the left side of the Gate City defense, and just like that, Marion has the first points of the second half.
They got our linebacker on that side and our cornerback blocked and gave him a real pathway into the end zone.
Well, on for the kick for Marion is number 22, Letcher Wagner, trying his first PAT of the night. Not what Gate City wanted to do, come out in the second half, and they commit a penalty jumping offside. So the Devils take the ball to start the half. They commit a turnover, a fumbling at their own 30-yard line. Marion converts with a 25-yard touchdown run, and on the ensuing PAT, Gate City is offside.
Blue Devils don't seem to be as sharp in this second half, PJ. It's kind of hard to keep your sharpness when you jumped out to a 4-touchdown lead early in the game.
Wagner will have it again. They'll mark the penalty off on the kickoff, I would say, because it looks like they didn't move the ball. So Wagner will try the PAT. Here's the snap. It's good. The kick is blocked. Great job by Gate City. Let's see who shot through there to make the play.
Well, that was 57, Brian Burke.
Looks like 57, Brian Burke having another great game for Gate City. Comes through the line and he gets his hands out and blocks the Wagner kick. So Marion stays at 6 points. It's 28-6 in favor of Gate City.
Well, PJ, that one touchdown may have done something that you and I wasn't counting on, but the first team offense may play a little longer now than was expected. Shows this game of football is a game of two halves. Marion, a time or two down here, I believe, in the past 2 or 3 years has maybe led us at halftime. I'm not really sure about that, but I know they've played us a couple pretty good ball games before we eventually pulled away late in the game.
The last time Gate City lost to Marion was 1987. That was my senior year in high school, and Marion went undefeated in the regular season, finishing 10-0 under a new head coach. His name, Danny Newman, the coach who now graces the sideline at Marion. So that was the last time Newman has defeated Nick Colbro in Gate City. Here's the kick. It's a short one, and it's going to be taken by McBrien at the 24. McBrien up to the 30, 35, and he's tackled at the 37. McBrien taking the ball in the middle of the field and gives Gate City 1st and 10 with 9 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third quarter.
David Henderlight on the tackle that time for Marion, and along with Jamie Owens, number 14.
The strategy might have been for Gate City, let's bring the first team offense out, let them score once, and we'll call it a night. But it's not gone according to plan. The Devils cough up the football in their first possession, and now the first teamers are back out there again. Shoemaker with Hank Claybaugh motion to this side. Gibson, the fullback, takes the give up the middle. He's got about 5, and he is tackled from around the legs at about the 45.
Tackle that time is Jim Bob Snavely, playing at a linebacker spot. Did a good job, grabbed the hold of his legs and held on until he got some help from the linebacker.
The Blue Devils moving from left to right here on the vast expanses of Legion Field, one of the finest football facilities across Southwest Virginia. The rain-soaked bleachers filled with a pretty good contingent of fans as Shoemaker calls the signals, and again it's Hank Claybaugh motion to this side. Shoemaker rolling out under pressure. He throws. Matt Claybaugh 45, 40 down the sideline and steps out of bounds at the 32 of Marion. Matt Claybaugh with a play similar to one he scored on early in the contest takes it out of bounds at the Marion 32.
And we seem to throw that play, you know, that same pass pattern. We run it every week, and we do a good, Shoemaker and Matt do a good job with it. And they also, I believe maybe that time that even Matt's brother Hank may have been out in the pass pattern also.
Gate City looked to flood this side of the field, the right side of the field, because they had a couple of receivers out there, and Matt Claybaugh was the closest to the line of scrimmage, and he took it. He was uncovered, and he picks up the first down and much, much more. Clock showing 8 minutes and 31 seconds left in the third quarter. Back set side by side behind quarterback Shoemaker. Gibson is the fullback, and they'll give to Gibson up the middle. Actually, Shoemaker keeps it on the option. He'll pitch. Hank Claybaugh around the left side. He stops, tries to cut back inside, and picks up about 2 or 3 yards. Claybaugh thought he could find a seam by going back to the middle of the field, but the Hurricanes wrap him up quickly.
Corey Farmer, the linebacker on that side, held his ground as Claybaugh stopped and tried to cut, and just held his ground and made a tackle.
Shoemaker with the fake to Gibson up the middle, and he kept it on the option around the end. Or actually, he pitched out on the option. Shoemaker has not run the option a lot this year, but when he has, he's grown more and more effective at hiding the ball and keeping it and pitching out. Here he's going to give to Gibson up the middle with a big hole. He's got 5, he's got 10, and he's hammered down in Marion territory just inside the 20-yard line. Kevin Gibson with a big run.
And a good job holding on to the football. Jason Shepard came up and hit him with a heck of a lick from his cornerback spot, and Gibson held on to the football, did a real good job.
This is the type of drive that Nick Colbro wanted to see out of his first-team unit, and perhaps that turnover to start the third quarter fired him up just a little bit, because right now they're driving deep in Marion territory at the 16. Shoemaker with Hank Claybaugh in motion, coming to the right side. It's going to be a misdirection give to Matt Claybaugh up the middle. He breaks a tackle, and he's going to score. Touchdown, Gate City. Matt Claybaugh, with his second touchdown of the night, puts the Devils ahead by a score of 34-6.
Matt Claybaugh's footwork on that play right there. If you get an opportunity in the morning to watch the replay or Tuesday afternoon, I want you to watch the 2 or 3 little cuts he makes after he gets into the open field. He did some real good footwork, got away from a couple of people that, and turned on the speed and ran it into the end zone.
16-yard touchdown run for Matt Claybaugh, his second score of the game. He now has 4 touchdowns on the season, and Matt McClellan, the senior, will try to make it a 35-6 game, going after his 5th PAT of the night. It's up, and it's good.
PJ, did we mention in tonight's broadcast that Matt McClellan was the Scholastic Player of the Week this week for as announced by WKPT TV? So another honor that has been bestowed upon McClellan, and he not only does a good job on the football field, but evidently he's doing a good job in the classroom also.
Very prestigious award, as Larry said, given by WKPT TV and Kingsport, and really a reflection not only on McClellan but on the type of athletes that Gate City turns out, and on the type of atmosphere and the tone set by head coach Nick Colabro. He knows how important football is, but he also knows that the biggest thing in the lives of these young men is academics, because football is not going to carry them as far as the classroom will. And so the Scholastic athlete Matt McClellan will do the kicking once again. As we said, he took a visit to UVA, the University of Virginia, a couple of weeks ago, and the past couple of weeks, and talked with the folks up there, George Welsh and company. So what a dream that would be for this young man to become a kicker for the Cavaliers. Perhaps it is only a dream, but McClellan right now, without a doubt, is the best kicker in Southwest Virginia. If there is a better one, I have not seen nor heard about it. Of course, he led the Southwest Virginia area in scoring last year as a kicker. And here he boots this one end over end, going to bounce at the 10 and taken just about the goal line. Here the return man brings it up to the 15, breaks a tackle. He's close to the 20, breaks another one, gets by Hartsock. He's to the 25 along the near sideline and out of bounds, wrestled out at the 33-yard line. And the tackle made by number 85 of the Devils. That's Matt Rowe coming all the way across the field to make the tackle from behind.
Rowe showed some good speed that time to come across the field and make the tackle. We've not looked real good on our kickoff coverage tonight. Marion has broken 2 kickoffs for good yardage against the Blue Devils.
Looks like the return men have actually gone the opposite direction of their blocking, and as they've done that, they've run away from the coverage of Gate City. Well, here are the Scarlet Hurricanes with 2 backs set side by side, and it's going to be given to the second back through, hit hard by number 43, Benny Wolf, carrying the football to the 40-yard line from Marion. Looked to be number 35, and that's Derek Snodgrass.
Benny Wolf almost with a textbook tackle that time. He lowered his shoulder and wrapped his arms around the ball carrier and held him to a minimal gain of 2 yards.
Second down and 8 for Marion. Scarlet Hurricanes didn't pick up a first down until late in the first quarter, and that one came on a pass interference call in Gate City. They've not moved the ball well except for their first drive here in the third quarter. Delay handoff given around the right side and going for about 3 or 4 yards out of the Marion backfield. Looks like it was Meadows, number 49.
Matt Johnson with an arm to trip him up a little bit, and Matt Claybaugh to finish him off. So pretty good work by that time by the defense.
I think it was Meadows on the carry, and he moves the ball close to the 44-yard line of Marion. It's going to be 3rd down and 4 for the Scarlet Hurricane. Clock is ticking down at 5 minutes and 54 seconds left in period 3 from Legion Field. First of 4 consecutive home games for Gate City, and the Devils lead it 35-6. Garrett Baker is the quarterback for Marion as he has his troops down with a wing back to the left and some motion on the right side of a Scarlet Hurricane line. The Devil defenders came up, looked like they were going to blitz, and they pulled one of Marion's players off. It looks like number 55 of the Scarlet Hurricane, Johnny Winters, jumped early.
Good call, P.J. Matt Johnson looked like he was going to step into the hole and be coming on a blitz, and I believe Marion got a little anxious at the tackle spot or guard spot over there and jumped offside.
It's been a penalty-filled night for Marion. We said Gate City did not commit a penalty last week against Lee. They've had several big ones. In fact, in the first half, they had 3 15-yard penalties. But now they've pinned Marion even further back and made it a 3rd and 9 situation with the clock under 5 minutes and 20 seconds. Again, the linebackers blitz. Johnson makes a hit on the back in the backfield, but he squirts through to the 45. And running the football for the Hurricanes look like, again, it was number 35, Snodgrass. So the fullback gets by the initial hit by Matt Johnson, and he has 4th down and 4 upcoming.
Benny Wolf and Brian Burke on the tackle that time for the Blue Devils.
Marion will have to punt and Letcher Wagner on for yet another time tonight. And the clay balls go back to receive for Gate City. Standing at the 25, Hank and Matt for the Blue Devils, with Letcher Wagner standing at his 30. Takes a arching snap and boots it high in the air. It's a spinner, and fair catch called for and taken by Matt Clayball at the 25 of Gate City. And the Devils will take over on the far hash mark with 4 minutes and 31 seconds to play. They lead 35-6.
And I believe I see the second team offense coming in here, PJ, so they're probably going to get some playing time now after the first team offense, after turning the ball over and giving Marion good field position in which they took it in for a touchdown. First team came back and put one on the board. Now the second team's going to get some playing time.
Joey McBride with tight ends to either side of him. He's got a T formation. Fullback is Benny Wolf, and he'll take the snap up the middle. He breaks a tackle. He's still got on his feet, and he's down to about the 40. Take it to 39. So Benny Wolf with a nice run, gains 9 yards, and he gives Gate City close to a first down.
Corey Farmer on the tackle that time for Marion. Benny Wolf has some good quickness back there at the fullback spot too. Reminds me a little bit of Gibson's quickness coming out of the fullback spot.
Wolf's run was just enough for the first down. The nose of the ball edging just past the chain marker, and the chains move. Devils have it. Here's the run up the middle for about 5 or 6 yards, and it's Chris Green with his first carry of the night. One of the backfield players we talked about. Larry, very well, this could be the offensive backfield of the future, say from McBride, who is a senior. You throw Shoemaker in there, and these backs who are playing right now could be very well the starters for Nick Colabro next year.
Well, there's 5 or 6 good backs that are going to battle it out to see who does start next year. It's going to be interesting.
Power football for the Devils as they have the T formation. Going to give to the left halfback. 45, McMurray breaks a tackle. He's across midfield into the 40 and wrestled down. Breaks another tackle, still on his feet to the 30. He was almost tripped up, and he regained his balance and got all the way down to the 25 of Marion. Superb run along the far sideline by Jason McMurray.
Number 62, Corey Farmer.
Yeah, only a saving tackle by Corey Farmer that time as he pulled him down from behind. Kept the Blue Devils from putting another score on the scoreboard.
24 is where McMurray put the ball. 24-yard line of Marion. Power I formation with the halfback split out to the right side. Here's the give to the fullback up the middle, but not much running room. And that's going to go to number 8, Ed Britt. So Britt takes it close to the 20-yard line of Marion, and the Devils' second team moving the football again.
Yes, they are. Ed Britt ran from his right halfback spot that time on a little slant and just didn't hardly have enough blocking to pick up a whole lot of yardage, but did move the football forward for a couple yards.
Devils come up with a T formation. Joey McBride, the senior, calling the signals for Gate City. Give to the fullback, 44, Green. He breaks a tackle. He's on the left side, and he is close to the 10-yard line. Might have actually gotten inside that marker, and it's a fumble, and Marion has recovered. So Green coughs up the football, and the Scarlet Hurricane take over deep in their own territory.
Another turnover, PJ. The only thing that's good about this one is by some of the younger kids, and Green was trying to get extra yardage on that play and lost the handle. But he's a good-looking fullback, too. Picked up good yardage on the play.
One of the most difficult lessons for a youngster as a running back to learn is just how to hold on to that ball when you get in there, perhaps your first or second varsity game, and you see lots of yardage in front of you. It's very easily not to put 2 hands around the football and protect it. So Marion takes over deep in their own territory, trailing 35-6. Just under 2 minutes to play, third quarter. And Baker hands off up the middle. Not much doing for the running back of the Scarlet Hurricane. And it looks like coming out of the pile was Snodgrass, number 35. So he's been the real workhorse tonight. Wayne Meadows came into the game as the heralded star of the Marion backfield, but Snodgrass has really earned his keep as the main ball carrier for Marion.
Jake Housewright and Matt Johnson on the tackle that time, assisted, I think, also maybe by Joel Stacy that time.
We talked about that article in the Bristol Herald-Courier today, profiling Matt Johnson. Interesting thing of note is that the writer characterized Gate City as linebacker high. That's been really appropriate when you think about some of the great defenders that have come out of that defense of Bill Housewright. And here's Baker rolling out the pass, breaks a tackle, getting to the far sideline, and tripped up and hit hard out of bounds.
Number 11, Garrett
as he will pick up maybe a couple of yards on the play, and it'll bring up third down.
Good tackle that time by Larry Jackson. He used his speed from his defensive left tackle slot there and threw the quarterback out of bounds after just a small gain.
Big game for Larry Jackson last week. You might remember he picked up a fumble of quarterback Jeremy Pendergraft of Lee, and he took it in for an 8-yard touchdown run. Anytime one of those defensive players gets to score a touchdown, it's a real memorable moment for them. Minute 5 to play, third quarter. Here's Marion with Baker, and he's hitting the backfield before he hands off now, breaking the tackle. Here's the running back, and he's strung out and tackled maybe for a loss at the 10-yard line. Running the football for Marion that time. Let's see if we can make out his number on the near side. Looked like it was number 24 of Marion, and that is Jason Shepard.
Joey McBride did a heck of a job that time on sealing that thing off. He came up from his safety spot and got up there in a hurry and really threw the man for a loss in the backfield.
This is familiar territory for Letcher Wagner. He's the punter of Marion, and again, he has to stand near his own goal line. He had to punt out of his end zone earlier in the game and got off a 45-yard boot. Again, he'll kick it in an end-over-end turning punt. Going to be fielded by Hank Clayball for a fair catch at the Gate City 49.
That young man may be one of the best punters we've seen this year, PJ. He gets a lot of height on the football and a good spiral and pretty good yardage. He punts the football real good. Of course, you were talking about Joey McBride and how well he's done this year. This young man, though, seems to get maybe a little more height on the football and a little more time for his team to get down and cover it.
Some new faces in the game for Gate City. 14, Clint Weiniger takes over at quarterback. Clint's a freshman, 5'10", and he's 150 pounds. Calling the signals with a T formation. 3 backs behind him. Fumbles the snap, and he pounces on it at the 50-yard line. So, mistake on the exchange on the first snap for Clint Weiniger, and he recovers his own fumble.
Try to get some of these new people's names that are in there. Nathan Darty's in at one of the line spots. Try to pick up another 1 or 2 years as fast as we can. We've got a 74 in. That's Corey Gardner in here.
And that's the end of the third quarter. So a very quick quarter comes to close at Legion Field. Gate City 35, Marion 6. It's been all Blue Devils with the second string and perhaps some of the third stringers in now. Gate City will move to 3-1 on the season and take an ever crucial 3-0 record in the Highlands District.
So far, it's been, you take the penalties away from this game and this offense, Gate City's offense and their defense both, I think, have done a real good job. And I guess maybe you're not going to have games where you don't have penalties in them. That's not in high school. And last week, by not having any penalties, our odds are just kind of evening back out tonight, I would think.
Weiniger has the team breaking the huddle. Gate City with the football resting right at the midfield stripe. T formation, and Weiniger again bobbles the snap, and he's hit immediately. Somebody blitzing through the line, and Clint Weiniger falls hard at the 46 of Gate City.
I believe the tackle that time was maybe by Jim Bob Snavely, or Meadows. The PA announcer said Meadows, and that's probably who it was. I just looked and picked up a number. Weiniger so far, and then a couple of snaps, has had a hard time grabbing hold of the football. Now he did an excellent job running the JV team up at Marion Monday night. He handled it real smooth, I thought.
Remember, he's only a freshman, so the year after Shoemaker leaves, he may very well be the starter for Gate City if he doesn't give Shoemaker a run for his money in the next couple of years. On an option draw up the middle, the back gets close to the line of scrimmage, not much more. And that was number 20, Brandon Seavers, his first carry of the game. Seaver for Gate City is a 5'11", 161-pound freshman. So a lot of the younger players seeing action for the Blue Devils, who will have to punt. Ball at the midfield stripe, right at the 50, 10 minutes and 55 seconds to play in the game. Josh Shoemaker is in the contest of the up back. Gate City, not enough players on the field, having to hurry somebody on and get them on the line. Here's the snap, and the punt is away by McBrien. It's a high kick, very short. It's going to bounce at the 32 of Marion, and Gate City downs it at the 29 of the Scarlet Hurricanes.
It's like both of McBrien's punts tonight have kind of come off the side of his foot a little bit. Haven't had a real true spiral to them, but they've done the job. They've put Marion back in their own territory. They're going to start out here on their own 30, and his other punt, if I remember right, was somewhere in the vicinity of the 25 or something like that. So it's not been a excellent punt, but it hadn't hurt the Blue Devils either.
Garrett Baker stays in the game, a quarterback for Marion. Scarlet Hurricanes staying with much of their starting lineup. And here's the give, coming along the left side. Back picking up to the 35, breaks a tackle, yet another, and he's down to the 40-yard line. Strong running by Wayne Meadows. As we said, he was the leading rusher in the Highlands last year, and he picks up about 9 yards for Marion.
Matt Rowe and Matt McClellan on the tackle for the Blue Devils that time, and we have some of the second teamers in on defense here too.
The nose of the football resting just shy of the Marion 40-yard line. It's second in inches for the Hurricane. 35-6 they trail. As the band strikes up a chord here on the Marion side, quarterback with a pair of backs behind him, wing back to the left side. Scrambling is Baker, going to his left. Fires downfield, man open, but he overthrows him, incomplete.
Got some good pressure that time from Jason Kilgore in playing a little defense after being the starting offensive center for the every game that we've had so far. Hadn't been called on to play a whole lot of defense, and it's a good opportunity for him to get in, get a few snaps on defense, because you never know when you're going to have to be used.
A lot of other Gate City Blue Devils making third or second string appearance on defense. I can spot Wes Ford out there in the secondary, also Matt McClellan, Bo Hartsock. They're the defensive backs. We'll try to get some other numbers if we can bring them to you here. Here's Garrett Baker lining his team up. He's got two backs behind him, wing back to this side, and a quarterback sneak. He's up to the 45, and he's across to the 47. Baker took a step back, and then he determinedly put his head down and took it up to the 47.
Must be a favorite play of Marion, PJ. Up there at Marion Monday night in the 8th grade game, they had a quarterback run for 3 touchdowns on quarterback, more like quarterback drives. One of them, I think, was in the neighborhood of 70-plus yards on a quarterback drive. Another young man that's in the lineup tonight for the Blue Devils here is Andy Smith, the freshman, playing at one of the linebacker spots.
He's joined by Chris Green back there. It's 1st and 10. Gate City Marion moving back to pass Baker. He scrambles. He's in trouble, and he's going to be sacked at the 44. Several Devils converge and tackle the Marion QB. Among them, number 72. That's Ed Lane, and number 32 for the Devils also there, Louis Bold.
Good job that time by Ed Lane. He's one of the young men I was trying to think about that played in the offensive line and defensive line in the junior varsity game this week also. He's a young man that's got another year or two to go and already has some size.
Loss of 5, and it's 2nd down and 15 for Marion. Here's Baker going to give to Meadows, coming near side. He's to the 45, to the 50 in Gate City territory, and he's out of bounds after a pickup of close to 12 yards. Wayne Meadows showing some flashes of his old self in the second half, but for the senior, it's been a real frustrating season. He picks up 12 there, but it's been a real long year for Wayne Meadows. As we said, he won the rushing championship last year, but coming into tonight's game, only 169 yards, and this is a really young Marion team that Gate City's faced tonight.
And Meadows shows a lot of, I think he shows a lot of tackle breaking possibilities, or not possibilities. He's already done it now. And Andy Smith drove him out of bounds on that last one.
8 minutes and 26 seconds left in the 4th quarter, and Marion with some misdirection. Here's a flea flicker handoff play, and it gets up to the 45-yard line. It was taken initially by Snodgrass and then given to Letcher Wagner, who was coming almost like an end around. Wagner moves the football about 2 yards, and it's resting in the middle of the field right at the 43 of Gate City.
Josh Caney and Jake Housewright on the tackle that time.
Brings up 4th and 2 for Marion. To get the first down, they need to get to about the 43, perhaps the 42. 36-5, we're late in the game. Gate City going to be 3-0 in the Highlands District. Won't play another district game until Abingdon to conclude the season. Here's Garrett Baker with a wide out to his left, calling the signals, and he's going to give to the second back through. Meadows bursting to the 40-yard line, and he pushes a tackler to the 39 of Gate City. More than enough for the first down.
Andy Smith and Matt McClellan on the tackle that time for the Blue Devils.
So the first team offense of Marion against the second and third string unit for Gate City. A lot of new faces in for the Blue Devils. 4-man front played by Gate City. Here again, Meadows coming left side to the 35, and an ankle tackle made by one of the Devils. Looked like number 24 of Gate City, perhaps number 34 of the Devils making a tackle, and that's Jason Carrico, 5'11", 140-pound sophomore, and he grabs the ankles and holds on to Wayne Meadows. Kind of a hurry-up offense now by the Scarlet Hurricanes, as one of the Devils has to scurry off to the far sideline. 7 minutes to play. They're going to give to Meadows, trying the right side again. He's up to the 30 and just tripped up as he gets to the 27-yard line.
Andy Smith again with a good ankle tackle that time. It may have prevented a touchdown. Meadows now is able to pick up some yardage against this second and third team, it looks like.
Clock still running, as Marion has obviously seen something on that right side of their offensive line. That would correspond to the left side of the Gate City defense. 3 consecutive rushes in that direction by Wayne Meadows, the senior from Marion. Back set side by side, split out to both sides. Here's the play. Looked like Marion might have moved early, but no flag. Going deep is Baker. It's overthrown and picked off by Gate City.
Matt McClellan.
Looks like Matt McClellan. He's down the far sideline. He breaks one tackle. He's across midfield. He's to the 40 and down to the 38 of Marion. Matt McClellan almost playing a punt return. He took a long overthrown pass and returned it from the Gate City 5 all the way to the Marion 38.
Matt McClellan played that the way a safety supposed to play it. He stayed back and read the pattern and just happened to and broke on the football real well. The ball was actually thrown over his head. He had to go back and make a catch, and then made a good cut, started up the sideline, had some pretty good blocking from these second and third team Blue Devils.
We're going to have timeout as Gate City is going to try to get some new faces into the game. Coach Nick Colabro coming out to talk to his troops, and while we have this chance, I want to again remind you about some fine folks who make Blue Devil football possible here on Channel 30, and those people include Roberts Tire and Recapping, with quality tires like Firestone and Michelin at their Weber City location. By People's Bank of Gate City, featuring half-a-day hours on Saturday and a drive-up ATM, get county-wide service with People's. By Magnolia Place, discover the charm of the place for the perfect gift on East Jackson Street in Gate City. By Weber City Drug Center, great prescription service, also featuring UPS and fax service for your convenience. By Nations Bank, with an ATM at the Weber City office and great deals on private lines of credit. By Weber City Coin Laundry, Deli and Tanning, with full-service laundry, sandwiches and homemade soups, and Wolf tanning beds. By Williams Heating and Air Conditioning. Contact them to experience the comfort of a Carrier heat pump today. By Delegate Terry Kilgore, proud to represent the 1st District in the Virginia Legislature. By State Line Graphics, offering the best for your printing needs. And by King Ford in Gate City, where it's closeout time with better-than-ever savings. Devils come to the line. Quarterback for Gate City is number 14, Weiniger. And again, a fumbled snap. Let's see who recovered for it. Both teams struggling to get their hands on the football, and coming up with it is Marion.
We've had a bad exchange just about every time this unit's been in there. I haven't been able to tell where the quarterback's coming out a little early or the center's not getting it back to him. But I saw a young man that checked in the lineup that time, PJ, that we thought looked awful good over at Powell Valley in the Jamboree. Paige Hughes has been out with an injury for a couple, 2 or 3 weeks. It's nice to see him back in the lineup.
Well, Marion takes over. One play after the interception by Garrett Baker, they recover the fumble, and they have the football at their own 38. Going to give to Wayne Meadows coming along the near side. This time Gate City reads it well, and they drop him right at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I had a Blue Devil on this side. Well, Lindsey Fisher, 42, strung it out a little bit. Gave the linebackers time to come up and make a tackle.
Also bringing you Blue Devil football on Channel 30. While we have a moment, I want to say thanks to Scott Jewelers, to Gate City Drug, Michael Carrico, candidate for Commonwealth's Attorney, to Doc Whitley, Nationwide Insurance, to the Campus Drive-In, and to Willis Pharmacy. Thanks to all those good folks who help us bring you Blue Devil football on Channel 30. Here's a misdirection play, and Wagner fumbles the ball, picks it up, and he's going to be dropped in the backfield, a loss of about 6 yards. That's the same kind of handoff that we saw earlier. The initial handoff taken by Wayne Meadows, and then he gives to Letcher Wagner, the wingback, coming around to the opposite side. Gate City read it well, and they throw the Marion team for a loss.
Larry Jackson, the first man to hit him, and McClellan also closed up from his safety position. They run a lot of reverses off this Delaware wing tee, and they started the game really not in a traditional wing tee, but with 2 running backs and only 1 wing back.
And Garrett Baker with an unbalanced line to the left to the right side, and jumping early for Marion was the tight end on this side, and that's number 84, Lee Thompson, a sophomore, checking into the game, and he's whistled for moving early.
The game has gotten kind of sloppy here in the second half, PJ. Kind of matches the weather. However, it doesn't seem to have rained all that much, I don't believe, during the game. I've seen a few umbrellas up, but it doesn't seem to be raining all that hard. Just a steady mist is falling all night.
Pretty good crowd came out tonight. Gate City's side about 3/4 full as Marion will run the play. Baker hands off up the middle. The back still on his feet as he gets across the 40, close to the 45. And it goes to number 35, Snodgrass, the fullback, getting about 10, maybe 12 yards and pushing the football to the 44 of Marion.
Bo Hartsock on the tackle that time for the Blue Devils.
Next week, if you plan on coming out to Legion Field, we suggest you do it early because it's going to be a packed house. Tazewell always brings a good crowd down from the Southwest District, and with those Bulldogs, they're going to be either 4-0 or 3-1, depending on how they do against Richlands. It's going to be a great game next week. Hope you can join us here at Legion Field, or you can catch the action on Channel 30. Here's Meadows out of the backfield. He's up to the 50, breaks a tackle to the 45, to the 40, and a tackle made by number 23, Bo Hartsock, who bulldogs Meadows down at the 40, close to the 39. But there is a flag on the play, and we might see this one come back. Nope, going to be against Gate City, personal foul.
Yeah, I believe the referee was pointing to Lindsey Fisher. May have been a little something going on down in the huddle there after he got blocked, but that's a mistake that Lindsey will overcome, and I'm sure Coach Colorado, after watching the films this week, will caution his players about that, because if you get ejected in one of these games, you got to miss the next game, and Fisher's a very important part of this football team. He starts on defense and alternates at the tight end spot, so we got to keep our composure here and not let things get out of hand.
Andy Smith is the defensive captain for Gate City. He's calling the signals from his linebacker squat. And here's Marion, back side by side, split out is to the right side. Wing back to the left. They're going to go to the left side, and the handoff, fumble on Gate City. Do they recover? It popped out from the Marion running back, and the Devils pounce on it at about their own 15-yard line.
I believe that's Hartsock on the recovery. Yeah, 23, Hartsock on the recovery.
A rather ominous beginning for number 4, Seth Umbarger. He carries the football for the first time, and he fumbles it deep in Gate City territory.
Quite a few turnovers tonight, PJ. I believe Marion had 4 at the half, and I'm not sure they've had at least 3, I believe, in this half already.
2 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. 35-6, Gate City leads it. They led 28-0 at halftime. Marion scored to open the third quarter, but Gate City has really owned this game from start to finish. Here's Weininger as he finally takes the snap and makes good with it, but somebody on his right side of the offensive line jumped early.
It looked like maybe the right guard on that side did jump early.
So that'll march Gate City 5 yards further back. Crowd still remaining here in Legion Field and supporting the Devils to the end. Same for the Marion crowd. They have not left.
Brings up first and 15.
Again, Gate City hosting Tazewell next week. Marion, on the other hand, will return home and face the Carroll County Cavaliers. Here's a handoff up the middle. And it's going to go to number 20, Brandon Seaver, his second carry of the game, and he's going to move the football over the 15-yard line. Looks to be about the 16.
You know, one of the most important things tonight is to make sure you get that varsity rested. You've gotten out of it looks like so far without any injuries to key players.
That's a good point. Those bumps and bruises, if you can really even give them a half of rest or a quarter or more, it can make a big difference later on in practice during the week. Here's a run up the middle. Looks like Seaver carrying the ball again. He's pushed backward by several of the Marion defenders. And that'll bring up third down and close to 11 yards to go. We're under a minute and a half to play here in the first of 4 home games for Gate City. In consecutive weeks, they'll face 3 of the top teams in the Southwest District. They've got Tazewell, then Graham. That's the homecoming game on October 7th. And then October 14th, Richlands, which 2 years ago captured the state title, went through some turmoil last year, but this year they have emerged again as a football juggernaut in Southwest Virginia. Leininger under center, calling it for Gage City. He's going to give off to the fullback, coming around the left end, trying to get some running room and tackle just as he was about to break around the end. Running the football that time for Gage City. It looked like it was number 15 of the Devils, and that's Matt Osborne, the 165-pound freshman.
I believe Marion is taking the time out here, PJ, with less than a minute to go, and Gage City sent its punt team in. You know, this is probably the lopsided, if there's such a word, game that Gate City's had all year. We've had 4 games. Tough game that we lost up at Lebanon. Came back against Virginia High and didn't play too well. Played kind of spottedly on defense and on offense. Played real good defensively. And then went to Lee last week and played probably a perfect ball game. And then tonight we come in against Marion and done the things we've had to do to win. But in the next 3 or 4 weeks, you won't have an opportunity to play without playing up to your peak, because these are going to be some real good teams that come into Legion Stadium for the next 3 weeks.
These 36 points scored by Gate City, the first in a long while. Last week they scored 27. That was the most since the Abingdon game last year. We'll have to go back and check the stats and see when the last time they scored more than 35 points. Here's Meadows fumbling the ball at the 50-yard line, picks it up, breaks a tackle. Actually, that's Snodgrass, and he is wrapped up by several defenders covering on the play. So Snodgrass gets it to the 50-yard line, and Marion takes over one final time on offense with 40 seconds left to play. Gate City on top of the Scarlet Hurricane, 35-6.
Matt Rowe and Matt McClellan, and Matt Clayball that time, I believe, on the tackle. Matt Rowe is a young man that plays on a lot of kickoff teams that shows real good speed, I think.
Baker has gone the entire way at quarterback, and he's going to stay in there. Going to give to Meadows, cuts back up the middle, got some running room, pushes a blocker, and he's tackled from behind inside the 40-yard line. He had a blocker in front of him. He almost outran him and had to push him out of his way.
And Anthony Calabro showed some good speed coming from his defensive end spot after he'd been blocked to catch Meadows from behind.
Third timeout of the half called by Marion. Rains are starting to pick up a little bit now as the umbrellas pop out across the stands, and the Blue Devil faithful and the Hurricane supporters will start to file out here at Legion Stadium. Been kind of a chilly, rainy night, and the rain's starting to pick up now. Let's hope for a little bit better weather next week, but we know we're going to have a big crowd. Again, if you can't make it out to Legion Field next week, you can tune in and catch the live audio broadcast, all the play-by-play action with Larry and me. And we want to thank especially tonight Tammy McGee and Gwen Lane. They've done a super job as our videographers, and Mitch Taylor is our engineer. Super job as always, and of course Gwen Lane is our producer, handling double duty tonight as videographer and producer.
Pretty good crew of people to work with, isn't it, PJ?
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, my pleasure to work with Larry. It's been a real joy to join with Larry on Blue Devil football this year, and we're going to have some good games coming up, so it's going to be a great rest of the season. We've got 6 exciting games, and none of the teams left on the schedule are any pushovers. We've got hard, tough football left throughout the 1994 season. Here's a handoff coming on the right side up to about the 37. Well, this will be the final timeout of Marion. Thought they had called them all, but they had one tucked away to call right here. With 14 seconds left, the Hurricane just trying to put together anything they can at the end of the game.
Mike Fitzpatrick, a 5'10", 225-pound sophomore for the Blue Devils, in on the tackle that time. So some more young men getting a chance to play, and we're just trying now to play out the game. And Marion with one more play, and it should be over, like PJ said. Hopefully we get out of here without any injuries, and the Blue Devils have done a pretty good job overall, I think. Second and third team units have had some opportunity to play, and we've talked about that all game, PJ. It's something you can't replace, is the experience you put those people through by giving them an opportunity to play.
Perhaps the best thing, in a strange sense, if you will, that could have happened to Gate City was that opening season loss at Lebanon. It really didn't hurt them in terms of standings. They learned a lot. They grew up a lot in that game, and it's become very evident how much they matured in that loss to Lebanon, especially tonight. Here's the quarterback handing off, and there's number 22, Wagner, on the left end. He is close to the 30-yard line and stopped by several defenders, including number 23, Bo Hartsock. Clock ticking down, and with 1 second left, that's the end of the game. Gate City opening its 4-game homestand with a 35-6 victory over Marion. The Devils move that much closer to reclaiming the Highlands District Championship. They won it last year. They're 3-0 with one more game to go. That is at the end of the season against Abingdon. Between now and then, the schedule becomes brutal. It's Tazewell, Graham, Richlands, Appalachia, Powell Valley, and then the Falcons in Abingdon. Larry, it's not going to get any easier, but the Devils took some big steps tonight.
Oh, they did. They clinched a tie tonight. Makes no difference what happens from here out. They, they are assured a co-championship in this district. But, a lot of things you said. You've got some real top-notch football teams coming up between now and the time we play Abington for the championship of the district. And hopefully you can keep everybody healthy. Hopefully you can improve a little bit from game to game. And I kind of believe these young men may pull an upset or two in some of these games that are coming up. I'm sure we're going to be underdogs probably against Richlands, possibly even Tazewell. Depends on what happens up there tonight. But we're going to have our hands full. But one good thing about it, we've got 3 in a row here at Gate City.
Well, before we get the final game stats, we again want to thank our advertisers. And as Larry said earlier in the game, if you get a chance to visit these folks, please drop by and tell them what a great job they've done and how much you appreciate Blue Devil football on Channel 30. I want to thank People's Bank of Gate City, featuring half-a-day hours on Saturday and a drive-up ATM. Get countywide service with People's. I want to thank Magnolia Place. Discover the charm of the place for the perfect gift on East Jackson Street in Gate City. And again, Blue Devil football brought to you by Weber City Drug Center. Great prescription service, also featuring UPS and fax service for your convenience. By Nations Bank with an ATM at the Weber City office and great deals on private lines of credit throughout Scott County. By Weber City Coin Laundry, Deli and Tanning with full-service laundry, sandwiches and homemade soups, and 6 Wolf tanning beds. By Williams Heating and Air Conditioning. Contact them to experience the comfort of a Carrier heat pump today. By Delegate Terry Kilgore, proud to represent the 1st District in the Virginia Legislature. By State Line Graphics, offering the best service for your printing needs, located in Weber City. By King Ford in Gate City, where it's closeout time with better than ever savings. And by Roberts Tire and Recapping, with quality tires like Firestone and Michelin at their Weber City location. Also bringing you Big Blue football, our Gate City Drug, as a gust of wind blows through here. Also bringing you Big Blue football, Gate City Drug, Doc Whitley, Nationwide Insurance, the Campus Drive-In, Willis Pharmacy, and Scott Jewelers. Again, a very special thanks to all those folks who help us bring you Big Blue football on Channel 30. Larry's got a look at the final game stats.
The final game stats go this way. Gate City had 17 first downs to Marion's 5. Gate City rushed the ball 47 times for 251 yards. Marion rushed the ball 28 times for 157 yards. They picked up 130 yards in the second half against the second and third team defense. Gate City attempted 7 passes, completed 3, no interceptions, 77 yards. Marion attempted 5 passes, completed 1, 2 interceptions for only 4 yards in passing yardage. Total offense, Gate City 328, Marion 161. Punts, Gate City had 3 for 28 yard average. Marion had 4 for a 36-yard average. Penalties, Gate City had 6 for 70 yards. Marion had 5 for 45 yards. Turnovers, Gate City had 4. Marion had 6. Fumbles, Gate City had 7 fumbles and lost 4 of those. Marion had 4 fumbles and lost 3 of those. So the only 2 things that look bad on this stat sheet for Gate City is penalties, 6 for 70 yards, and fumbles, 7 of those, and lost 4 of those. But of course, we got to take into consideration that we had some second and third teamers in the second half. It did fumble the ball a time or 2, but now it kind of was catches. It kind of started in the first quarter and went all the way through.
Gate City now 3-1 in the season, 3-0 in the Highlands District. Marion is 0-4 overall, 0-1 in the Highlands. Next week, the Big Blue Cannonball makes stop number 5. It's back to Legion Field, 7:30. You can join us here on Channel 30. We'd encourage you to come out. Big game. Tazewell Bulldogs come to town. Old Southwest District rival. Want to thank Gwen Lane and Tammy McGee for the great job on the video work tonight. Also, Gwen is our producer. You want to thank Mitch Taylor, our engineer, for setting up. Special thanks to Larry Shelton. Great job as always. This is P.J. Grinsell. Hope you've enjoyed it. Been Big Blue Football here on STE Cablevision, Channel 30.